Tonight was a scary moment in American politics. In fact, it's probably the scariest I can remember.
Well, hey, that's saying something. Considering Vox says almost everything is scary all of the time. But I'm calling your bluff. I can remember some scarier American political moments in my lifetime. There was 9/11.
Just flew into it, into the other tower coming from south to north.
The Great Recession.
It was an historic day with Wall Street shaken to its very foundation today.
And whatever the hell this was, fear is as rational a response as any.
Senator Warren. Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
I tried some cold chai. Didn't cause convulsions. The point is, if you're going to claim the debate was the scariest moment in modern American politics, I've got several other instances with which to challenge. But I'd like to hear the case.
Tonight we watched a major party's presidential candidate stand on a stage and promise that if he is elected, he will put the opposing party's nominee in jail. In jail.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Well, not quite. You skipped the first part where he said he would appoint a prosecutor to investigate.
If I win, I am going to instruct my attorney general to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation.
After which he made the verbal slap on Clinton, saying she doesn't want Trump in power because she doesn't want to be in jail. But at no point did Trump promise to put her in jail. He promised to investigate her potentially criminal activity.
That's a thing that doesn't happen in American politics. It isn't how we resolve political disagreements.
Well, Trump wasn't proposing a resolution to a political disagreement. He was proposing an investigation into potentially criminal behavior.
This is scary. It's something different. It is a major presidential candidate promising to rule like a dictator, not a president.
Yeah, thanks for repeating the main point again, really hammering it home. But given the frequency with which you describe things as scary at Vox, something can either be scary or it can be something different. Can't be both.
It is a man who's repeatedly praised Vladimir Putin as a strong leader, promising to rule like Vladimir Putin. It is a favorite tactic of Putin to jail his political adversaries.
The two examples offered here are interesting. The first article he references is about a Putin critic who, despite what this video leads you to believe, is not actually in jail. He was released the following day. And political disagreements with Putin aside, the guy does have a criminal history. The second article details a list of mysterious politically associated deaths in Russia, and that's not a good thing. But if just saying is the standard of proof here, just saying, Trump might not be the candidate you should worry about. Just saying. And if political violence is to be admonished as Vox insists, why was a Vox editor urging riots and violence against Trump supporters this summer? Advice: if Trump comes to your town, start a riot. Let's be clear, it's never a shame to storm the barricades set up around a fascist. Let's also be clear, it's never ironic to protest perceived authoritarianism through violent, authoritarian methods. But all of these issues are a distraction. It's not political disagreement Trump cares about. It's Hillary's potentially criminal act of storing classified U.S. intelligence on an unsecure private server.
Trump is blasting Hillary Clinton on her emails. The FBI already said Clinton is not guilty. She was negligent but not criminal.
No, the FBI does not assess guilt. The FBI collects information.
In our system, the prosecutors make the decisions about whether charges are appropriate based on evidence that the FBI helps collect.
It's up to the prosecutor to press charges or not, and since in this case, the prosecutor who would do that serves at the pleasure of the president, who has a clear preference in the outcome of this election, a reasonable person could certainly conclude that the decision not to press charges was not an objective or fair one. To be clear, no assessment of guilt has ever been made in this case because no court of law has ever decided on the matter. Only actors with political incentive or disincentive did.
This is a week when we have seen a lot of norm breaking from Donald Trump, a week when we heard his 2005 recording where he bragged about sexual assault.
React to the tape however you like, but calling it an admission of sexual assault requires a few things. First, you have to assume everything described in the recording literally happen. And why wouldn't it? I've never heard a man embellish a story of sexual conquest before.
That Veronica Vaughn is one piece of ace. I know from experience, dude. You know what I mean?
No, you don't.
You have to take everything literally, except of course the part that literally describes consent.
They let you do it. They let you do it. They let you do it.
Dismiss that as a lie, because that part doesn't serve your purposes. And you have to conclude this was a sexual assault against nobody. The alleged victim in this case is nobody.
As offensive as that recording was, this is actually scarier.
Isn't it convenient for Vox that every word Trump says is scarier than the last in a nice, neat progression? Makes for easy headlines.
And if you thought that a Trump presidency would be somehow guided or restrained by his advisors and his close allies, that was proven wrong tonight too. It made it perfectly clear that a Trump presidency is going to be a Trump presidency. It's not going to be a Mike Pence presidency or a Paul Ryan presidency with Trump in some kind of ceremonial role.
If a presidential candidate takes the lead in decision making, he's an aspiring dictator. He's running for president, not chief of submission. That role is already filled.
And I'm a strong man that's really happy to support a strong woman who will make history being president.
He believes the presidency should be a strongman position. You could hear it in tonight's debate when he reacted with disbelief at the idea that Hillary Clinton, which is junior senator from New York, didn't change the tax code all on her own.
All on her own? You're not just putting words in Trump's mouth there. You are forcibly shoving them in. Pretty much an admission of sexual assault, really. Trump criticized Hillary for advocating tax reform now, but doing nothing during her Senate career for change. He never said she should have changed things unilaterally.
If she had a problem, for 30 years she's been doing this, Anderson. I say it all the time. She talks about taxes. Why didn't she do something about it? She doesn't do anything about anything other than talk. With her, it's all talk and no action.
But how do bills become law? An individual lawmaker crafts one and takes leadership to try to pass it. I can't find a single example of Hillary doing that on tax reform during her Senate career. The point isn't that she didn't change tax law all by herself. The point is she never tried to work within the system to see it happen.
Trump has always been clear about who he is and where he wants to take the country. The only question is if that's where we want to go.
I still have a question, actually. If he's been so clear, why are you so bad at understanding him? Every point of substance in this video, Trump aspires to be a dictator. Trump admits to sexual assault. Trump's words are the scariest part of modern American political history. Each of these conclusions requires generous interpretation beyond the facts available, and in many cases, deliberate disregard for the facts available. I'd say the dishonesty is scary.
Probably the scariest I can remember.
But that word no longer holds any meaning. It's Halloween time, though. Gotta find something to be scared by. It's either Trump or all those body-positive Harley Quinns you're about to see patrolling the streets. Get ready. They're coming. Thanks, as always, for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion. Down below, and especially over on Twitter, that is at MattC on YT. You're always welcome to come hang out and chat in my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Okay, bye.